Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Java learning session. I know we have not been connecting very frequently for some time. There has been some gap because of various reasons. And here we are restarting again and getting back on track. Okay, so that said, we have learned the fundamentals of Java programming language over last few weeks. Post that, we learned about linked lists, arrays, and bit of array list and all those things. Today, we are going to learn about the concept of hash maps, hashing, and all. And you can try implementing it in whatever programming language you want to follow. It could be Java, it could be .NET, it could be Python, it could be Node. It does not matter. And there will be a follow-up session later for seeing how this can be implemented in Java. But before that, I need all of you to try implementing it in Java or whatever programming language you are comfortable with. To get started, how many of you know what hashing is? Can somebody tell me some of the common use cases for hashing? Data such as an algorithms side, whenever you are solving problems, in many cases, a hashing logic or a hash table or a hash map can simplify the time complexity and hence make your program faster. We had learned about time complexity and similar things in an earlier class. If you want to search something from a list, it could be approximately order of n. And while in hash map, it could be approximately order of 1. But again, in practical cases, it also depends on quality of the hashing algorithm you use. Yeah, Vinayak has mentioned passwords. Yes, hashing can be used, made of use of in passwords and all. And hashing, unlike encryption, because whenever you discuss hashing in terms of security or in for the use case of a password, you always get compared with encryption. So encryption is a two-way process where you have a plain text, you encrypt, you get a ciphertext, and then you decrypt, and then you get back your plain text. But hashing, it is one-way process. If you have a plain text and then you hashed it into some other form, you cannot get back the original one. So you have a password, say 12345, a very bad password. So the hashing algorithm will generate some number, and the hashing algorithm will give a guarantee that always it will generate that particular output whenever you give 12345. So instead of storing 12345, you store that output in your database. And when somebody come and try to log in to the system, they will enter 12345. The hash is generated. This hash is compared with whatever hash you have in database. If everything is same successful, then you can log into the system. So from that hash itself, imagine that somebody breaks into your computer, hacks into your computer. With that hash alone, he cannot get back the original password. There are ways such as brute force attacks and all, through which people try to figure out what was the original password. That is why we should try to make it more complex. But for today's discussion, like passwords and all those things are not important, because we are looking at pure data structures and algorithms point of view. Let me show you how a list or array work. So imagine that I have a list or array of n elements. And then if I want to find anything in this list, the worst case is I have to traverse the whole list. And while traversing the whole list, I'll be traversing n elements, assuming this has n elements. And that is the reason why we have a time complexity of n. And another use case, another practical use case. Imagine that you have 100 students in a class and you want to check something. You are given a name and then you have to find out whether that name is there in the class or not. So worst case, you have to go through 100 students. But what if we put those student names into some buckets? So one, you can create buckets in different way. So imagine that I have a bucket for student name starting with A, another for a student name starting with B, another for a student name starting with the C. Now, whenever I get a name Hartin, I'll have to only check this bucket. Okay, I will not have to check anything else. I will have to only check this particular bucket. Imagine that I have only 10 students whose names start with H. Then I'll have to traverse only 10. So then you might ask, what about order of 1? So order of 1 is the ideal case where you have a very good algorithm so that every bucket will have only one element. So if you have a very good hashing algorithm and if every bucket has only one element, then you get order of 1. But in any case, it is far better than traversing the whole array. To understand it further, let us see how we can implement a hash map. There are different ways in which you can implement a hash map using arrays and linked lists, using arrays and trees. Today we will be discussing about the approach of like implementing a hash map using arrays and linked lists. The reason is because you have not learned trees yet. So once we learn about the trees, then we can have a implementation based on that also. In Java, you have a class called object. So we have not exactly learned this concept of inheritance, but just keep in mind that there is a class called object that is created by Java, and it has many methods implemented by Java. And every class in Java, whatever you create, by default inherit this particular class and gets all these methods. Hashcode is also one of such methods. You can override that method and make it more beautiful. Okay, so now let us come back to our implementation. So follow it carefully, ask any doubts, and I hope at the end of this implementation, you will be completely clear about the idea of hash map also, or the concept of hash tables or hashing. So let us start with an array. Imagine that I have elements that needs to be put into this array. And when it is passed through some hashing function, either the hashing function from Java itself or from any other hashing function, it will give you a hash code. That hash code will be a number. I am just considering whatever number I am getting out of that hashing function. So let this number be 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 25, 30. And arrays, as you know, has a fixed size 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is an array of size 5. And I have only a limited set of array locations. So my first task of creating a hash table or creating a hashing logic is to make sure these numbers are mapped to this array. How can I do that? How can I convert some or map some random numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 10, 20, 30 into a fixed set of numbers. Can I use any mathematical operations to achieve that? Exactly. Okay, we can use a mod operator. How many of you do not know about a mod operator? This is the mod operator, A mod B. The modulo operation A mod B returns the remainder after one number is divided by another. Examples include 0 mod 5, which is 0, 1 mod 5 is 1, 2 mod 5 is 2, 4 mod 5 is 4, 5 mod 5 is 0 because 5 by 5 is 1 without any remainder. Similarly, 10 mod 5 is also 0 because there is no remainder there. Okay, so you have to use a mod operator here. That is the first clue in creating your hash function. So you'll be creating a hash function on your own. And to make it simple, you can use mod operator. But in a real world, you'll be having more logic on top of this mod operator. But in our example, in our practice question, let us keep it very simple. You can make use of mod operator. Now, using mod operator, I can map each of these to one of the array locations. So that is the first step. But then I can have more than one element mapping to a single, because 0 is mapped to here. And then again, if I have a 5, it is also mapped to here. More than one element. It could be even 2 zeros. So more than one element can be mapped to a particular location, or this location can be also called as a bucket. So more than one element can be mapped to a single bucket, and in this case, a single array location. But you know, a single array location can only handle or only store a single element. So what is the solution to this? Or what do you call this particular problem? This particular problem is called as collisions. And there are many different ways to solve this. You may have learned many techniques in computer science. Here again, we will take a very simple approach, which is called chaining. Each of these locations, we can create a linked list. So when first element comes, I can put it here. And then second element comes with the same hash code. I can put it in the second location. Okay, clear? So this is a bucket. Similarly, first element comes to 2. I can put it in a linked list with the first element. And then I can put it into the next element. I can put as a second element in the linked list, and so on. So now, whenever I get a read request or get request, what can I do? I can actually calculate the hash code of whatever input I receive. And then if I am getting 0, then I can go through that list. If I'm getting 2, I can go through that list. And for this particular practice question, you can have integer data. I am assuming you still remember how to create a linked list and how to define a node. You can use the same linked list concept to create your own linked list, and then use that linked list in this particular hashing problem. So you are not going to use any data sources and algorithms or collection framework concepts such as linked list or hash map or anything from Java. You are going to implement it on your own. And later, we will learn these things from Java and see how things are made easier. But before that, you definitely need to implement these things on your own. This is kind of a very favorite interview question also for many interviewers. So you need to create a linked list. You also need to create a node class before it. Node, like node can have int data, node next. And using that node, you can create a linked list class. And then you will have so you can call it as my linked list and my hash table just to avoid confusion with Java's hash map and all. And this my hash table or this hash map in general can have two functions minimum, a put and a get. This is another test for whatever Java we learned until now. If you think you forgot about what we have learned, you can just head to CSE Cafe YouTube channel and go through the Java videos. We are going to have more regular sessions from now on, and we will be discussing about a lot of interesting problems from data structures from outside. We'll also learn much more things in Java. But before that, I need you to start programming. And then we will learn in-depth things in Java so that you have to only learn that concepts and then immediately you can practice it. So now we have not learned any serious things or advanced things in Java. We have only learned the essential constructs, and then we are doing programs, or we are doing a little bit of problem solving with whatever we have learned, one step at a time. And if you follow along, then you can really be an expert in Java or any similar programming language, because these things you can implement in Java or .NET or any language of your choice. And if you are a part of DAC, you can use the DAC WhatsApp group. And within DAC WhatsApp group, you have a 24/7 Zoom meeting. You can just mention in the group anybody available to do this program together, and maybe you can discuss and then do it together as a mini project, because sometimes doing together is also good, but in any case you will have to do it, and then we will analyze it, we will discuss around it, and then we will have a lot of interesting problems going forward. If you just follow along, I'll make sure that you are all programming experts, and then we will solve a lot of problems together. If you are watching it later in YouTube, maybe after Thursday, even if I have shared the answer, please make sure that you try doing it on your own, watching only the previous videos in this tech series, and then check the answer. Okay, so that is it. We will wind up this simple and easy class, and we will conclude it in the next class. Do practice. If you are not a Java developer, it is fine. Whatever, because you will have some knowledge in some programming language, right? Whatever language you know, you can implement this in that particular language. It was very nice talking to you after a small break. Let us all meet again once you do this assignment. Until then, let us all learn together and grow together offline in our WhatsApp groups and in our other forums such as Cloudrix community portal. Bye-bye. See you all in next class.